Hello guys, today we will learn a very basic topic, that is the pollination, right? In this you must have learned earlier also the various types of pollination. The same thing we are studying in class 12 but little bit in higher level, in little bit depth. See, first of all we will see what is a pollination. Definition you know, it's very simple. Transfer of pollen grains from anther to stigma is called as pollination. Very simple, very basic definition. Transfer of pollen grain from anther to stigma is called as pollination. This much simple definition. And types also you have studied. Whatever your previous knowledge is there, according to that you have studied two types of pollination. One is the self-pollination and second one is cross-pollination. Only these two types, right? Now what is self-pollination? Just revise. Self-pollination where only one flower is participated and in that the pollen grains from the anther will fall to the stigma of the same flower, within the same flower, right? Then it is called as the self-pollination. And what is cross-pollination? Whenever the pollen grains of the one flower's anther transfer to the stigma of the another flower, right? So just transfer these pollen grains from here to here, then it is cross-pollination. And when the transfer of pollen grains from this anther lobe to this stigma in one flower, then this is called as the self-pollination. These are the two types of pollinations you have studied. Now in class 12 the same topic is there but little bit new names. The self-pollination itself is called as autogamy, second is Geitonogamy and third is Xenogamy. These are the three types of pollination. Now let's see one by one what is this autogamy. However, you have seen here self-pollination. In the self means what? A same flower, within the flower. Like the same here autogamy. Auto means a self. Whenever the union of the gametes takes place within the same flower, then it is called as the autogamy, right? So this is equal to self-pollination. Autogamy is nothing but the self-pollination. Now what is little bit points are added here. In this, some plants are producing two types of flowers. These are chasmogamous flower and clistogamous flower. Now what is mean by chasmogamous flower? You can see here I have drawn the diagrams. These all are chasmogamous flower. Now means whatever the normal flowers we see everywhere around us, these all will be chasmogamous flower. Now what is the characteristics of these flowers? In these flowers their pollen grains, stigma, these are well exposed to the atmosphere, right? So these are in short open flowers. The flower which is get opened and their anther lobes and stigmas are exposed. This will be included into the chasmogamous flower. Second type of flower it is there, that is clistogamous flower. Clisto means closed and these flowers never open. So you must have not seen these flowers somewhere. Must be you have seen the bud of the flower. Same like that the flowers will be there which will never open. It will be remain in the bud condition, closed one. This is called as the chasmogamous flower. So few plants like Viola, Oxalis, Commelina, these plants are producing these two types of flower. One is open and second one is the closed one. Now what is the characteristics of this clistogamous flower? The clistogamous flower, as it is closed, then also in that 100% autogamy takes place. in absence of pollinating agent. Now what is pollinating agent? The agent which transfer the pollen grains from anther to stigma. And these agents, which are these? Water, wind, insects, some birds are also there, some animals are also there, right? So these agents help in the transfer of pollen grains, but in clistogamous flower these agents are not essential. Now what is the another condition to carry out the autogamy in the flower if it should be carried out in chesmogamous? The condition is that the position of the anther and the stigma should be very close to each other. Suppose this stigma will be here, very close to the stigma, then 100% there will be a autogamy, right? And the flowers which are closed, which never open, that is the clistogamous flower, there also the arrangement of the anther lobe and stigma is the very close to each other. As soon as the pollen grains mature and released, it will be reached to the stigma and pollination will be carried out. So question will be asked based on this in exam, that what is the advantage and what is the disadvantage, right? So advantage of clistogamous flower is that what? In absence of pollinating agent, pollination will be carried out, and rest all other, if you will see, there is need of one pollinating agent. It can be anything, right? But advantage of clistogamous flowers is that in absence of pollinating agent, pollination will be carried out and assured seed set will be there. 100% guaranteed seeds will be formed in the clistogamous flower. This is the advantage, right? And a disadvantage, one disadvantage they will ask. Now what is the disadvantage in this? Here, whenever continuously self-pollination will be carried out in clistogamous flower, there will be a inbreeding depression. Now what is inbreeding depression? In self-pollination, depression, the quality of that seeds or the flowers will go on decreasing. This is what it is called as the inbreeding depression. We are going to study this point ahead in detail. Right now just you remember that one disadvantage for clistogamous flower is inbreeding depression, and one advantage is assured seed set, and pollination will be carried out in absence of pollinating agent. So this will be your self-pollination which you have studied, and in 12th you will write the same under the heading autogamy. Clear? Next is that Geitonogamy. This is the second type of pollination. Now in this what happened? Now you have studied in the self-pollination, the involvement of flower is a single or one flower is involved in the self-pollination, and for cross-pollination you have studied that two flowers will be involved, right? Now take this example, this diagram. This is one common stem, and on this stem two different flowers are there. Now whenever the pollen grains will transfer from anther lobe A flower to the stigma of the B flower, you will 100% consider it as a cross pollination, right? But here you have to consider this as a Geitonogamy, your first one. Autogamy, this one. What? Pollen grains of the anther lobe to the stigma of the same flower, either it is open or the closed one. Suppose this is of the bud condition of the flower. So inside that this will be anther lobe, and here the same it will be the stigma. So it will be transferred here, clistogamous or chesmogamous. Autogamy. Here also the first type of pollination occur. Here also the first type of pollination occur. And this is what? Second time Geitonogamy pollination which will be occur here. Now you can consider it as a cross pollination according to your earlier knowledge, but here you can see physically two flowers are there on the same plant. But as these flowers are of the one plant only, its mother plant is the same. What about the genetics? Genes of these both flowers are the same. So, in context with gene, if you will see, the genes of these pollen grains and genes of this stigma is the same. So, in this reference, this will be again self-pollination or autogamy, right? So, whenever we will see the pollination at the gene level, it is again self-pollination or the autogamy. So, here the Geitonogamy is nothing but whenever the pollen grains are transferred from the anther lobe of the one flower to the stigma of the another flower, but both these flowers on the same plant, then it is called as the Geitonogamy. And the third type of pollination is nothing but the Xenogamy. In the Xenogamy, what happens? The pollen grains of the one plant, this is the plant X and this is the plant Y, right? So, whenever the pollen grains of X plant reach to the pollen grains of the Y plant, then here we can see the third type of pollination, that is nothing but the Xenogamy. Now here this physically also cross pollination and even genetically also cross pollination, complete 100% cross pollination, right? Some of the plant shows Geitonogamy, some of the plant shows Xenogamy. Geitonogamy on the same plant, one plant is involved, and in Xenogamy two plants are involved. In Geitonogamy two flowers are involved of the same plant, and in Autogamy only one flower is involved. This is what the types of pollination in grade 12. Question will be asked different types of pollination. Now this will be asked for 3 marks. As I said, for the clistogamous, chasmogamous flower, definition will be asked for 1 mark. The name of the plants in which we can see the autogamous pollination or the clistogamous flowers, or 2 types of flowers. So these examples will be asked for 1 mark, and Geitonogamy, Xenogamy definition will be asked for 1 mark. So this point is very important. In boards, this also has weightage, maximum of 3 marks, minimum of 1 mark. Question will be asked anyhow. If your concept is clear, you are able to answer. Thank you.